All right, guys, welcome back to Wealth and Travel on a Dime. And today I want to talk about our Coast Fi portfolio. Now, for those of you who don't know what Coast Fi is, you essentially are building a portfolio. You inject enough cash in it that over the time frame between now and the time you want to actually use the portfolio in retirement, it will build itself up. Now, generally speaking, there's a lot of ways to do this. But for us, this portfolio is just to be a hedge, a backup, or a counteract side to our income portfolio, which we've previously done videos on and continue to do one every month. So if you haven't checked that out, feel free to go check that video out about the income portfolio and how we're going to live off that from now till it's time to use this Coast Fi portfolio. Now, I really think that everyone should have a backup portfolio, even if you're an income investor, just to have that balance in case something goes wrong in your income portfolio. Then you have a second one there to back you up. Now, with this portfolio for us, we are sticking to just a handful of growth stocks, but mostly index funds. It just makes sense, be it in an ETF form or a mutual fund form. It doesn't matter. It just allows us to connect that basic yearly amount of income. It goes up overall somewhere between 8 to 10% adjusted for inflation every single year. That's just the average long term, and it just makes sense. It's the slow, steady, safe way comparatively to build wealth. Now, with that said, we are looking at this Coast Fi basis on about a 10-year horizon, because a lot of this is in accounts that can't be touched till retirement without penalty. So we are planning this for when my wife turns 59 and a half and we can start accessing the large portion of our retirement accounts. We do have some in taxables in case we actually need it along the way, but that's a whole different video. Now, I want to get into all these investments. They are held at multiple brokerages, so we're going to have to go through them kind of one by one. I'm not going to go off in the weeds too much as far as what we're invested in. I'll cover it on a basic scale as we go through. But let's go ahead and jump into the phone here so I can share all this information with you. Okay, so as we get into this, guys, the first one I'll talk about is our Fidelity account. This is where we hold most of these funds at. It's spread out over multiple IRAs and HSA and a small taxable. So I have my traditional IRA here. Missy has her traditional IRA here. We have an HSA here. And like I said, a small taxable. So the overall counts on that is $124,829.62. All right, so this is where the massive amount of our holdings are. All of these accounts will become available. I know some people don't add in their HSA to their accounts. We have saved all of our receipts from all of our medical expenses, and we will be able to pull from this account in retirement. But right now we see no reason to. Why not just let it grow, let it expand, and if we do have a giant medical expense, we have the cash ready to go. So that's Fidelity. As I said, we're like almost at 125,000 there. So let's go on to the next one. All right, and the next one we're going to do is my Roth IRA. Now, I transferred my Roth IRA from M1 over to Robinhood. I did that because of the fees and all the changes they're making. I'm just not a fan of M1 anymore. My wife has chosen to stay with them, but I have not. Now, I do have a video explaining that if you guys want to go check it out. It's a very one-sided video. You'll find 100 videos out there that say that this is still a great platform. You just need to hold over $10,000 in there. I disagree. But with that said, I have $2,940.99 in my Robinhood Roth IRA. Now, I am getting their contribution match since I have Robinhood Gold. So I get 3% against anything I put in here this year. Now, I'm just going to let this grow. And I quoted you guys about, how my wife is, 10 years away from being 59 and a half, basically. I will not be able to access this for a lot more years than that. but you see how small it is. We are building up her accounts because she will have access to them first. You're going to see that as a reoccurring theme in this video. So moving on. All right, next we're going to look at my wife's Roth IRA. Now she keeps that at M1 Finance, and at this moment it has $12,112.69. So as you can see, her Roth is much bigger than mine because we purposely are making it bigger. She's going to have access to these funds before I would, so it just makes sense to build hers out first. Okay, let's continue on at M1 here with my wife's taxable account. So it has $11,560.32. So if we're going to take all these accounts, and they're all invested in basic things like VTI, VOO, FZROX. We do have some small positions in Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, just basically parts of the Magnificent Seven in small amounts sprinkled in. But if we add them all up in order to get a total of what we have here, you're going to end up with $151,443.62. Now, that sounds like a lot of money, but it's really not when you're looking at retirement and what you need to spend. But it is a nice amount to have as a backup plan to your income portfolio. Now, what I want to show you guys is how CoastFi works. So if I take that total, and let's just round it to $150,000 for easy numbers. All right, we go put it in a basic investment calculator. All right, so our starting amount is $150,000. My wife has 10 years till she's 59 and a half and can access these retirement accounts. Now we're going to do the return rate at 8%. This is where I want to talk to you guys, because a lot of people say, well, if you want to be safe, do 7%. Almost every investment we have this in pays at least a 1% dividend. So you can add that in there to make 8% inflation adjusted. Now, I should mention that out of the last 5 years, we've done over 20% in the S&P 500 for 3 of those years. All right, so this is being very conservative with our numbers, but that's okay, because it's good to look at things conservatively. So the compound rate will be annually. And then the additional contributions, you have to put something in here. So I'm going to put $1. All right. And then if we calculate that, we're going to end up coming out with a balance of $324,018.87. Now, it's important to understand that this number is going to be considerably higher unless something insanely tragic happens over the next 10 years. And I highly doubt that's going to happen in the stock market. I feel like this is a very conservative number, and that's okay. But what I want to point out to you is we're starting out with $150,000. We got paid $173,000 in interest. And $120,000 was that dollar we were contributing every month. So $324,000, let's just round that down. I'll be honest, I think the number is going to be closer to $400,000, but we'll round it down to $300,000. All right, so that would give us, if you use the standard 4% rule, $12,000 a year. Now that's not very much in retirement, is it? But we standardize at the 5% rule. And then if we have a bad year, we try not to take out of this portfolio. So really, this is going to give us what I consider $15,000 a year minimum. Now, this is, as I said, a backup, a CoastFi portfolio. Our income portfolio is going to be producing somewhere around $3 to $5 grand a year. And by this point, it may be more. We also do sell our own options and have multiple sideline businesses that we do. So this is basically just going to be icing on the cake or a backup plan if anything else happens to fail. But you also have to remember, my wife will be probably 2.5 years from Social Security if there's anything left, which I'm sure there will be. It may just be that it gets a good haircut about a 30% haircut. But that will be coming in too. So as you can see, it's backup upon backup upon backup. We have the properties we're going to be Airbnb in. So we have plenty of backup options, but this portfolio is kind of a hinge. If I was to be honest, I'd say this is probably one of our safest plays we have going on to bring income in because it doesn't need any help. We don't have to help it at all. Now, we may come to a point where we're trying to save on our taxes, so we may want to put into our traditional IRAs just to bring our tax basis down now because we'll be making too much money. So this number may grow some just by having to do that. But even so, coming out with $300,000 or $350,000, just before we go into Social Security time, those are the years where things start to slow down for a lot of people. The younger years, especially in early retirement, they're kind of go, go, go years. As you get into your 60s, things slow down a little bit. And we are generally pretty frugal, so kicking us an extra $15,000 a year, we're going to have to find a way to pretty much spend that, honestly. So I think all of you can see how having this safety net can be extremely useful. I think that if you watch our videos and you see some of the things we're doing, nothing is a single thing. We have safety net and backup plan and backup plan. And even when you watch us and we've got this giant plan laid out, we can pivot on a moment because a better opportunity comes along. And that's how you really need to look at your retirement and your savings. All right. My biggest thing is I want time because there's only so much that I can have. I can make more money. I can do anything. I want time. All right. We recently lost our little dog, Molly, and I would have rather had more of that time back that I was working to spend more time with her. I've got grandkids that are growing up faster than I can believe. I want more time to be able to spend with them. If I'm working all the time, I can't do that. But I still need my wealth to grow. That way I can work even less every single year. If there's one thing you can take away from this is don't be all in on any one thing. I know people that are all in on crypto, and that's fine. But don't do that. Have something else in your back pocket. I know people that are all in real estate. Don't do that. Have something in a savings account, a CD. I don't care. Have something else available to you in case everything just goes awful. All right. Never put all your eggs in one basket. The more you diversify, the better off you're going to be. Now, I will say the fastest way to build wealth in this current structure is not always the safest. But time is the most valuable asset you have. So setting this up, putting some money in it and letting it roll and not touching it is building wealth with you doing nothing. Slow, steady, and safe. In the short term, running the income portfolio, building that up fast and getting the income to what you need is the fastest way for us at the moment. The real estate, firewood, side hustles, those are all just tools to help us along to buy our time back. It allows us to work the hours we want in the way we want to amass the wealth we want while still using our time how we see fit. And I hope that each one of you can take a piece of that from this video and improve your lives. Now, with that said, if you haven't already, and I don't know why you wouldn't have, go down, hit subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell so you see all of our upcoming videos. I don't care if you want to watch us because you think we're going to fail. Please go down and subscribe because there's no such thing as failure in our vocabulary. It's as simple as you pivot and do something else to still buy that time back. Because we're never going to give up. We're going to enjoy every day to its fullest, and I hope you guys do too. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one.